Today, we have Meghan Markle's wrinkly clothes, elbows, floppy hands, and more. Hey everybody, I'm Beebs Kelley. Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you are having a happy day today. How are you doing? Today marks the first of a series of etiquette videos, and we are going to begin by tackling some of Meghan Markle's posture things, including from sitting down, and her wrinkly clothes. But before we hop in, I just want to invite you to subscribe. If you enjoy these videos, please do click the subscribe button and the bell icon so you can be notified anytime I post new videos. So let's get into today's video. It's no secret that some fabrics are much more prone to wrinkling than others. So apart from poor fabric choices and fabric prep, like for example, ironing, using starch when you iron, and using anti-wrinkling sprays, there are products in the laundry section that you can use to help prevent wrinkles or minimize wrinkling in your clothing. So apart from those sorts of preparatory things and having to do with the clothes themselves, there is one key thing that Meghan Markle continuously did that she shouldn't have, because it increases the chances of wrinkling and maximizes the amount of wrinkles you will have in your clothing. And it's crossing your legs. There are a lot of reasons for the Duchess slant being a real thing. I learned it a long time ago. It is a legitimate ladylike way to sit down. You do not cross your legs. One of the reasons is that it increases the amounts of wrinkles that you will be left with in your lap area when you stand up. Because when you cross your legs, you're adding a lot more bunching and you're increasing the angle at which your legs are at. So the angle between your hips and your back when you do the Duchess slant stays more like this, closer to a 90-degree angle. But when you cross your legs, it's more like this. It approaches a 45-degree angle, and it's going to give a lot more wrinkles. Other reason why women in these sorts of situations, or people who are going to be photographed a lot, shouldn't cross their legs is because in the process of lifting your leg up to cross it, there might be an unfortunate wardrobe malfunction style moment. Somebody might flash the camera and accidentally catch your legs a little bit revealing type of a situation. So the Duchess slant, which is knees together, ankles together, feet flat on the floor, or one foot just behind the other, where you cross your ankles rather than cross at the knee, with your lap flat. That is also just simply more visually appealing in pictures. It is more photogenic. It looks a lot nicer. You can see in some of these pictures, it almost looks like Meghan Markle's legs are backwards or something, because it's like, what is happening here? Heavier fabrics in general, things that have good lining, outfits that are cut or designed in certain ways can all hide potential lap wrinkles. For example, the late Queen Elizabeth, she used to like wearing things that had a blazer top or a coat dress on top that was a nice stiff strong fabric, so that as she stood up, the potential wrinkles in the lap area would not be visible. Slips are also a great way to help prevent or minimize, because they allow your clothes to move so much more freely and easily over your body. But really the key is good seated posture. Chin flat to the floor, feet flat on the floor, engaging your core to sit up nice and straight. It doesn't have to be an uncomfortable thing. It's all in the abs. Back and your posture will automatically be better whether you're sitting or standing. And keeping your knees together, crossing either at the ankles or not at all, is the proper way to sit in a good etiquette, ladylike sort of a pose. Of course, in our everyday lives and when we're just hanging out, that really doesn't matter that much. But if you're out in a nice dinner or you're having formal photos taken, it can be a lot more appealing and attractive way to sit than crossing your legs or just having no intention behind how you sit. Of course, for women like this who are in PR sorts of positions where they are representing the monarchy, where they are being photographed a lot and intended to be professional and draw attention to important issues and causes, then these sorts of tricks and poses and sitting in a proper sort of a manner is the right thing to do. Simply put. Another thing in regards to clothing that can be really poor etiquette is pulling on your clothes and rearranging them, with a few exceptions. If your hat's blowing away, grab it. If your dress is billowing up or being sucked between your legs due to a big gust of wind, then fix it. These are good times to adjust your clothing and things we all understand. However, things like pulling in your bra straps, tugging your shirts down, smoothing your skirt when you stand, these are things you want to avoid as much as possible. It just draws attention to yourself and your clothing, and it's just not a very professional or proper way to behave. And that is part of why the Queen stuck with the types of outfits she did for so many years, because they were the types of outfits she could stand up and literally have to touch nothing and readjust absolutely nothing. You would be hard pressed to find a picture of the Queen rearranging or tugging on her clothes every time she stood up. Choosing clothes that fit and wearing well-fitting bras and panties underneath, including your secret weapon to prevent a need to adjust your clothing, slips, stockings, shapewear. Now, if you don't like shapewear that's tight-fitting, then you don't need tight-fitting shapewear. You just need something that is comfortable and leaves no bulging and allows your clothes to have a smooth canvas from which to operate on, so to speak. Certain types of shapewear or just undergarments in general just smooth over your bra lines and panty lines, and stockings or nylons serve a similar purpose. To test the theory, you can pop on a pair of nylons and wear a skirt or a dress around your house and feel just how much more movement that dress or skirt has. It just flows over your body like water. It doesn't stick or grab onto anything. Whereas if you're wearing nothing or just your panties underneath, it's going to be grabbing and sticking onto all sorts of things, and it's not attractive. When you're wearing certain dresses or skirts, you should weigh down your bottom hemline. This keeps the dress hanging nicely, and it also helps to prevent wrinkling. It allows when you stand for the dress to immediately hang right back down because it is weighted at the bottom. Now, for a budget hack, you can use fabric tape and little dimes or nickels. Just be sure to evenly disperse it. You can even fold it into the seam if you're going to have it hemmed, or there's more fancy and expensive ways to have your hemlines weighed down by a seamstress or tailor. Royal ladies and wealthy folks, I'm sure, are weighing their hemlines. I can't imagine them not in certain outfits. Of course, it's not great for really flowy fabrics or lightweight fabrics, but for certain outfits, especially like a blazer and skirt type of look or coat dress, it's very likely that they are weighing down their hemline. Another thing we have caught Meghan Markle doing an awful lot is the very unintentional looking floppy hands and elbows. She had a bad habit of sticking her elbows out, as well as just letting her hands hang or just kind of holding them right in front of her like this, in front and away from her a little bit. It looked really awkward and strange, and it didn't help that she has really lanky, slim limbs, made it look even more awkward. She even has windmill elbows and arms going on in some of these pictures where it's just everything is going on some sort of crazy ride. And she also has this sort of hunched and leaning posture at times, which we discussed in a previous video about high heels, which I will link somewhere. If you missed that, go and check it out. But when it comes to the elbows and the floppy hands, you don't want your appendages to look unintentional. You always want to be standing in a way that is photogenic and that looks nice and intentional. Proper posture is to have not just your chin level to the ground, your core engaged, shoulders back, standing up straight. It's also feet together and elbows in and hands in a relaxed and calm position, not looking like you just finished washing dishes. It's just so much more poised and graceful, but it also gives a slimming look in pictures when you stand in this sort of way. Try standing with your elbows out in a picture and then with your elbows in a picture. You will look a lot slimmer and more streamlined and attractive and nice in a picture where your elbows are in than if they are out. Now, I'm not saying you have to pin your elbows to your body in a way that is uncomfortable or tense. Just drawing your elbows in a little bit, not necessarily back, but just in, allows your arms to look a lot more nice. This is a lot more dainty looking, a lot more feminine and graceful looking. You can see how Catherine, Princess of Wales, has developed a sort of hand posture, if you will, where she kind of holds her fingertips at a very relaxed place. It's a little bit lower. It's not really high up around her torso. It's not near her chest or bust. It's just sort of down near her navel or belly button area, and her elbows are in. You will notice in pictures her elbows are in literally almost all the time. That's not just her or her body. That's on purpose to pull your elbows in. It's one of my favorite tricks ever. And sometimes I have to remind myself in pictures to pull my elbows in, because when you don't feel as confident in front of a camera, your tendency can be to hold your elbows out or to really like contort your body in strange ways, but really all you need to do is tuck those elbows in and you look so much better in photos. In etiquette school, they talked to us about how when you pull your elbows in, you end up showing the inside your weenus, and that's a much more feminine and poised thing to be showing rather than the sides and bony parts of your elbow. After seeing the difference between Meghan Markle and Princess Catherine, I have to say that I agree. Another tip for our posture and things of that nature, to take smaller steps, in part because you're oftentimes wearing certain sorts of dresses or outfits where large steps might even be difficult between your heels and tighter skirts. So taking smaller steps not only looks nicer and allows you to be more photogenic, but it's more practical given the outfits that these types of ladies are wearing. Additionally, when you stop and you stand, to keep your ankles together or close together. Of course, you don't need to stand like you're in some sort of military stance with your ankles together and your feet straight forward at all times. There are nice ways to stand with your feet still relatively close together. The rule of thumb often is to keep them within less than shoulder width apart. And if you're going to keep your feet a little bit apart, to have one foot at a little bit of a 45-degree angle and the other straight can be a little bit more appealing and look nicer in photographs. I have said this a lot before, I know, but obviously, a lot of these things are not super important for our day-to-day lives, but they are super important for women in the types of roles that Meghan Markle used to be in and rejected so harshly, and that Princess Catherine is in, or Sophie, or Queen Camilla is in, where you're out and about and you're representing something important and you are doing something in which you are a role model and people are looking to you and people are also photographing you nonstop. It's important to conduct yourself in a manner that does convey grace and poise, allows your beauty to shine through, and allows the causes you're there to support or draw attention to or to develop, or the work that you're doing, to really be the showcase and the center. And when you look super awesome, and like it or not, we judge with our eyes. So when we see somebody who has this beautiful picture where they had good poise and their stance and their posture looks amazing, it really adds a lot of cachet to the causes that they are there to do and the work that they're doing. It adds validity to it. It adds power to it because those visual signals send a powerful message. My favorite day in etiquette training was when we had a body language expert come who was actually somebody who worked with like detectives, and he was this macho man. And his lecture was fascinating and it enhanced my interest in body language and psychology. I still to this day, it's one of my favorite subjects to study. And he spoke about the messaging that you send when you use these sort of confident stances and you are in control of how you present yourself, and how powerful that is, psychologically speaking, to gaining respect and to sending certain messages. So if you are in a position where you've won a pageant, you're representing an organization, or you are part of the monarchy because you married Prince Harry, or in a position of power, or even just the matriarch of your family, then you can convey certain messages and gain certain respect through these types of tricks. And I find it to be incredibly interesting. So I hope that this sort of a video today was interesting to you too and was not too random for you. These sorts of PR heavy jobs, I think maybe sometimes people don't realize how much goes into it and how much of a difference it can make. But the proof is in the pudding. You can see how much of a difference it made that Meghan Markle disregarded all this sorts of advice and rules and didn't take it seriously, and was very much so did not earn the respect of literally anybody, and it's been a train wreck ever since. Well, if you liked today's video, please leave it in the comments and don't forget to click the like button. Let me know if you would like to see more of these types of videos or more on this subject. I would love to share or dive a little bit deeper into some of these things. I really enjoy this subject, so let me know if you do too. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Be on the lookout for the video on Royal Ascot. I am finally getting it together. There's so many fabulous fashion looks for that day. It's been a little bit of a project getting them together for you all, but it'll be a lot of fun to take a look back at that fabulous week at Ascot this year. Thank you so much again for being here with me. I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a happy day ahead. I will see you next time.